Point.
Hello there, and Happy New Year to you one and all. Yes, indeed. The year, it is 2026, and you are being welcomed back to another episode of the Broad Points Podcast. I am your host, the one and only, the broad that points, the broad with the points. It's me, Tyler, the lady. You guys, Happy New Year. We made it. Yeah, sure. Maybe you're noticing this isn't out the very first Monday. Guess what? Life happens, and it has been crazy how busy I have been. I have just been embracing it and knowing that I'll get back to all of my listeners and all of my passions and all of my hobbies when I can. With that being said, it is a new year, 2026. May it be the year that everything in your life clicks. Truly, it's just another year. It's just another opportunity for us to achieve our dreams and to listen to more fundamental phrases for the week. So I say, let's jump right into that, and then we'll talk about all of the other things, because everything is connected. Always, in all ways. With that, the first fundamental phrase for 2026 is, I am the fix. Yes, you heard me right. I am the fix. And not me for you, but say it to yourself. I am the fix. For each one of us individually, we are our own solution. Yes, to whatever problems we may deem or encounter in our life, we are always our own solution. And that is just such a beautiful thing. And so when I say 2026, may it be the year that clicks for everything in your life, I really, truly do hope that you are applying yourself to your life. We'll say as a topical ointment, you're applying yourself to your life, and that you are resolving whatever issues you may have experienced in the previous year, right? All we can do is hope to start steady, rock steady, and finish stronger than we have been in the past, right? It's all I strive to do. It's all I strive to do is just be better than I was before. Because then I'm not in competition with anybody else. And I really do even think that, even with yourself, sometimes you can kind of rob yourself of some joy, but really comparing yourself to others is where, golly, you just set yourself up for some major heartbreak there when you're comparing yourself to others. So, I think it's important. I believe it's important to be inspired by others. Allow them to guide you and not deter you. Don't look at somebody and say, I could never. Because guess what? You're a human being. And the person that you're looking at is also a human being. We're on the same playing field. We're on the same planet. And yes, opportunities may be different for each person. Circumstances may be different for each person. But your circumstances don't define who you are. And truly, I feel like the more you pursue and focus on what you want, the more the opportunities start to fall into your lap. Why do I say this? Well, for years, I have been working for this company. When I signed on board with this company, actually, they told me that I was going to be going to New York and I was going to get to meet my team. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they made me this promise, and it didn't happen. It never happened. And, I put in the day-to-day work and just really tried to just be there and hope that one day it would happen. 3 years later, I finally was able to go to New York for work. Before this, I don't know if you guys remember or not, it was last year, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't remember, but I had, been comfortable, we'll say, with the amount of food that I had been eating. I had gotten comfortable. I had been a little complacent, one may even say, with how much food I had consumed, and I had paused some of my physical activities and was getting back into the swing of things, and I had started running again. I knew I was going to be going to New York for work, and I've got dreams, you guys. If you don't have these things written down, I truly recommend you write a list of 100 things that you would like to do before you die. Not because I'm focusing on the fact that we're going to die, but hey guys, it's inevitable. Again, we're human beings. It's part of the human experience, life and death. And so with time being limited as it is so important to recognize what you want to do. By recognizing what you want to do, you can see how you want to prepare for it. And in my life, I know that I want to do a lot of things that require a certain level of, we'll say, physical acumen. I need to have a certain level of cardio. I need to have a certain level of muscle. It has to happen in order for me to do some of these things that I want to do in my life. I want to hike. I want to run. I want to do all sorts of things, climb mountains. I want to do it. I want to travel the world. I love it. Those are just some things that are on my list, right? In order to do that, I've got to squat sometimes. I've got to do some squats. I've got to do some push-ups. I've got to lift some weights. I have to run. I have to hike in order for me to be able to do longer hikes and longer runs and lift heavier things and pull myself up, right? All of these day-to-day things that I call a practice, and I call them a practice because, I think it just makes it a little bit more meaningful. Training is cool. I did training for a long time because I grew up as an athlete. I grew up playing both soccer and fast pitch. Those were my two favorites. I also dabbled in tennis, amongst, some other things. But it requires you to have discipline. You know that in order to play in the big game, right, you've got to train. And that's a very cool thing. But now I don't always see things as a game because I don't really like to focus on the wins and the losses. To me, it opens me up for losses, which I don't need those. I've had enough of those. I lived that. I did the training thing. Now, with practice, right, when I think practice, I don't know you. I don't know your milk to cereal ratio. I don't know what you're thinking right now. When I think of practice, I think of doctors. And they get paid a lot of dollars to practice. You guys, just to practice. So if I practice lifting weights and I practice running, right, it makes me feel more expensive. How can you make yourself feel more expensive? Truly, though, in the day-to-day practice, and you can connect with it with whatever verbiage you feel, practice is just something that I like to throw around there, and I really do feel like the way you speak to yourself affects the way that you show up and connect with your mission. So, with me, it's practice. Practice is helpful. Training? I don't want to train. I don't do that. It's funny because I think it's because maybe in my day-to-day job, I'm like a professional trainer. I train people. I specialize in training. And so, sometimes it's hard to want to continue to do the things that you're paid for, right? When you're not being paid for them. Oh my gosh. Did that just unlock something for you? Yeah, dude, to be paid for something and then to have to do it on your own and not be paid for, I get it. Switch up your lingo. It's so easy, you guys. It's so simple. Just switch it. Training, practice. here we are. And this, showing up in the day-to-day practice, is how we show up strong in the pursuit of our dreams. And going to New York, I didn't have a lot of time. I was able to squeeze out one more day initially, or one more night, I should say, than I was supposed to have, because persistence, you guys. If you want something and you keep saying it and you keep saying that you want something, people will listen. If you keep saying it to the right people and you say it politely, kindness, compassion, you guys, I don't know why that is like not a common sense thing anymore, or maybe why common sense is not a thing anymore. I digress. In New York, I was able to go, and I told myself that one of the things that I wanted to do was to run in Central Park. I thought that would be like, if I lived in New York City, which has always kind of been a dream of mine, but then I think about living in New York City and I think about the traffic and how loud it was. Oh my gosh, if you live in New York City, how do you sleep? How do you do it? Do you just not? Do you never sleep? Because there's always sirens and horns. Somebody's honking their horn at all hours of the night. I do not know what is going on out there in New York City. But it's crazy. I'm so privileged now. My little desert lifestyle. It's so quiet out here. I love it. I'm so grateful for the desert. But if I was ever to live in New York City, I would want to run. I think I would have to run and work out before work just to make sure that I didn't completely go insane. Because, holy crap, it is a cement jungle out there, you guys. It felt like I was going to war. Honestly, that is what it felt like, is that I was going to war. And so to put in the day-to-day practice, it felt appropriate for me to be like, I'm going to go run. And so I woke up early and I told myself, I am running to the Alice in Wonderland statue. The loop that I had mapped out was, we'll call it maybe 3 miles. We'll say it's a 3-mile loop I'm going to do, and I was like, yeah, that looks reasonable. I can do that before work and make it back and get my coffee. Well, I am so happy that I, applied myself, decided I wanted to do this, and then showed up to do it. Because the starting line can honestly be the hardest point, is just, getting your shoes on and actually walking out of the door. I woke up, I knew I was going to do it, and it was so cold. It was so cold, you guys. I was not mentally prepared for how cold it was. I did physically prepare. I packed a lot of things into a very small suitcase, which I'm quite impressed with. And I proceeded to run out there. The good thing about running is you do warm up. So I had that going for me. Bad thing is, it is so dark so early. And so I was running in New York, like through Manhattan and the city, and there was lights everywhere, and that was cool. And then once you get into Central Park, there is a paved path where people run and cycle on, and that has some lights. But there are a lot of foot trails that go throughout Central Park, and it is just dark. It is crazy how dark it is. So I obviously, as a woman running alone in the early hours, ran on the paved path for the most part. I actually ran on the paved path too far, because I realized at one point as I was running up this hill that I think I might have passed the Alice in Wonderland statue. But I didn't stop. I did not stop mid-hill. I made sure to finish that hill for the mental fortitude to allow myself to know that I can do hard things. I can climb big hills, right? Even when I'm not supposed to have gone that far, I can make it. I can make it to the top and then figure it out. And so that's what I did, is I made it to the top. I figured it out. I went a hill and a couple little unpaved paths too far. And so I went back and found it. It was beautiful, actually, being there early in the morning. I don't know what that statue is like during the daytime, but I'm assuming with all of the Alice in Wonderland movies that have come out throughout the years that it is a little crowded. There was no one not a soul. Nobody came off of the paved path. It was only me there with Alice and the tea party because everybody was there, the White Rabbit and the Mad Hatter. I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. I have loved them for forever, since the Gene Wilder version. Did you guys see the version with Gene Wilder? If you have not seen the Alice in Wonderland with Gene Wilder, please go back and watch it because it's so good. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Johnny Depp and I love, please, just go back. Gene Wilder. I love it. I love Alice in Wonderland. To be there when nobody else was there, it just made my heart so happy. When you're looking at the statue, your heart is happy because you're connected with nostalgia and your childhood and a little bit of magic and a little bit of wonder and just possibilities. And that's one point. Then you turn around and there's like this little pond. I'm going to call it a pond. I don't know what it is. I didn't really look at the map. But you get to see the New York skyline, and at that hour in the dark, you see all of the lights reflecting off of the pond. You see how grand these buildings are, and you just get to feel how small you are in comparison to everything. And knowing, too, though, connecting with it and saying that I contribute to this. I work with the company that works out of New York. Like, I contribute to the function of this city. Like, that's a really cool thing to think about. Sometimes in life, right, if we're isolated, we can forget our purpose. We can forget our connection to the world. And so I encourage you to get out and to reconnect with your purpose and see how you are connecting to this world, to this community. And also prioritize yourself. Truly and sincerely, if I did not prioritize myself, I would not have been able to I did 2 runs when I was there. I was there 3 nights, and I did 2 runs, and I'm happy that I did not run the 3rd day, but we'll get into that in a minute, because we're still talking about prioritizing yourself and making the time. Like I said, I didn't have a ton of time. I got 1 extra night out of it. And that extra night, I made the time to do the things that I wanted to do immediately. That was eat Joe's Pizza. The line is worth it. You know, the line honestly wasn't that bad for me, and it moves so quick. So don't dilly-dally when you're in there. Look at the pizzas, decide what you want, be quick, be efficient. So that everybody else can get through the line, because Joe's Pizza is delicious. I loved Joe's Pizza. I've been to New York before, so I knew that I just wanted to go back and get the pizza that I liked. Plain and simple. I didn't have a ton of time again to run all over the place, but I did also decide that after Joe's, I was going to take a stroll over to the Rockefeller Center and visit Magnolia Bakery. Magnolia Bakery I actually had never tried before. If you're a Sex and the City fan, I do enjoy me some Sex and the City. There was a scene where they're talking about it being a 2 cupcake situation and needing cupcakes. And so that is kind of what started Magnolia Bakery. Then they made this next level banana pudding, and that's really what put them on the map. And that is why I had to go and try them, because I have been watching a lot of banana pudding videos lately. I don't know about you guys. There's just something about like the creaminess and the softness and the fluffiness and the banana-iness that it's so delicious. And they've got to make their own Nilla wafers and all these things. It's just perfection. Honestly, it felt like I was eating a cloud. So if you're ever out there and you like banana pudding, go out and try some from Magnolia Bakery, because it is to die for. I feel like I've never had banana pudding before until I had their banana pudding. So please go out and try it. And if you know someone who makes it better, please let me know. Because I've got to try that. Because if this changed my life, the next one is going to be even more life-changing. So please let me know. I travel by food, you guys. I do. I love it. I love food. I love to experience the different cultures and the different cuisine. Food is amazing. So make the time to do what you want, to eat what you want, to do what you say you will. That's important, to do what you say you're going to do, right? Make the time to do that. And then to achieve your goals. Yes, you make the time, you guys. You do. And by making the time, it allows us to be patient and understanding in the moments when we know that the time is not ours. What do I mean by this? Well, I alluded to it earlier, but my trip did last longer than even I planned with the little bit of extension that I got. Yes, I was on my return home, and I left the airport, or I left the hotel rather, early because there was reports that TSA at LaGuardia, where I was flying out of, had been shut down. And usually when that happens, you want to get to the airport early. Honestly, if you don't have TSA pre-check, you should be getting to the airport early. And I do say this just because you don't want to miss your flight. Please don't miss your flight. It's so, honestly, it's not fun missing flights. Don't do it. Getting rebooked, is it your fault? Is it someone else's fault? Then there's all this finger pointing. Just be early. Be on time. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. That was something that was instilled in me as a child. Again, growing up an athlete, it's just, you've got to be there. And you should be there early. Honestly, why are we showing up late for things? There's no reason. There's no reason. RuPaul actually had a thing where he was talking about he used to love to show up late until finally one day he realized that he was just addicted to the adrenaline of showing up late. What? Is this you? Are you RuPaul? RuPaul, are you hearing this? Oh, goodness. So on my journey, I get to the airport early. The reason why it had been shut down is because somebody had actually set their suitcase in security at the TSA and then ran away. Don't do that, you guys. Never do that. Always take your luggage with you in the airport. As somebody who specializes in travel and has traveled pretty much their entire life, please keep your items with you at all times. Because that's terrifying. And then they have to shut down TSA for a long time to make sure that that's not something that you can't say when you're on a plane. Bomb. You can't say bomb, guys. Don't say bomb. And so, not because of this, but my first flight was delayed. So I'm there early because of this, and then my flight gets delayed unrelated. So, joyous day for me, right? I'm there this is why we're early. I talk to some friends, I eat some food. I actually had a great Monte Cristo when I was in the airport from, I believe it was Zaro's, and they've got some good stuff. You know, if you're going to be stuck in an airport, like LaGuardia is not a terrible one, like at least they've got some things. They also have room to lay down, which would have been so nice on the next leg of my trip. Oh, yes, you guessed it, you guys. Good news is, before I get into that, I slept on my plane from LaGuardia to Dallas because I just had a feeling. I was like, you know what, girl? No matter what, your layover in the next area, you don't know how much time you're going to get to like really rest. So let's rest on this flight. So that way we can run around the airport and do whatever we need to do when we're in Dallas. And so that's what I did. And I am so grateful, you guys, that I did that. I maybe got, we'll call it 2 to 3 hours of sleep on my flight from LaGuardia to Dallas. And then I got to Dallas and I see my gate. I see I've got plenty of time, so I go to Whataburger. When in Texas, Whataburger. And their fries are so good. I forgot how good their fries are. And I got all of the sauces because you must get all of the sauces. I love their spicy ketchup, which is a jalapeno ketchup. This is just I am so sorry if I'm just making you all hungry this episode. This is just, again, I travel by stomach. And so I was just hitting the hits. And like I said, Whataburger. So I walk over to my gate, seat 27. Immediately I'm prompted with a gate change. So I walk over to seat 21, where I see my departure time go from 9:30 to 10:30. And then I'm like, all right, that's okay. Now I have some time to breathe and, I'll be all right. I sit and relax a little bit. We get on the plane. And then we're sitting on the plane for an uncomfortable amount of time before the pilot says, we had some issues on the way here. We saw some maintenance lights, so we're calling maintenance. They should be out soon. Yeah. More time goes by. An uncomfortably long amount of time again goes by. You guys, the clock is just ticking, and I'm like waiting. Everybody on the plane is starting to get antsy. Another announcement from the pilot comes through. Hey guys, we're sorry. We've called maintenance twice now, and nobody's shown up yet. So hopefully they'll show up within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll be able to provide you with another update. Oh my gosh, people on the plane are getting so pissed at this point. I'm just like breathing, telling myself it's going to be okay. Like, no matter what happens, this still won't be the worst layover I've ever had, because I've had some horrible layovers, you guys, in my past. Honestly, traumatizing layovers in my past. And so I knew that being stuck in Dallas would be a piece of cake if anything happened. So I'm sitting there breathing. The lady next to me is all anxious, sighing, making me more stressed out. I just keep trying to focus on the calm music that I'm listening to. Because again, we are the fix, you guys. This can be applied. This is how, right here. Just breathe it out. When you can't control your situation, you can control your breath. And so that's what I did until the pilot made his final announcement, which was, you guessed it, we needed to deboard the plane. And oh my gosh, this was so crappy of them to not put any more information or anything out there, but they just said, get off the plane. The gate agents are going to have more information for you. We're sorry. They need to change the tire. We get out. Then everybody's standing in line, and they finally make an announcement. We're not sure really what's going to happen yet, but we believe that they just need to change the tire, and we're getting a new crew in. We should be leaving now at 1:15 a.m. Keep in mind, it's about midnight now. It took us so long of just sitting on the plane before they let us off of the plane that, oh gosh, now we just have a little bit of time for this next thing. Nope, guess what? They changed it again. Within the time that I could call Matt to tell him that he was not going to have to pick me up at midnight, they changed the flight to 5 a.m. And being midnight, at a 5 a.m. flight, you have to leave to go to a hotel. Yeah, give us a hotel voucher. That's great. Except I can't make it to a hotel and get rest and get back, make it through security to get to this gate again in time for that flight. So you guessed it, I stayed at the airport. Oh, it was a crushing return trip, you guys, but this is why we have to practice patience and we have to practice understanding. I, from working in travel, understand that the maintenance issue, it's not their fault. Although they communicated about it poorly, American Airlines, I will shout you out for this. The maintenance of it all, the tire having issues, that is not their fault. It's just happening. It's circumstance, okay? It's not anybody's fault. We don't have to point fingers. But that did not stop the men coming off of the plane from yelling at the people in the airport about how unfair this was and how they needed their damn bags, and just lots of profanities and things that I won't say here because I chose to act with kindness. I understood that this was no one's fault and that, yes, crew times out because that is what happens. You're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours as a pilot. So, your crew times out and then you need a new crew. You've got to wait for those people to come in, get through security. Guess what? Security's not open until 4 o'clock. There are lots of hoops, right, that they have to jump through to get another plane going. So I understand that. Which is why I'm able to act with kindness. I'm able to see people and laugh about what is happening to me, right? When I got my coffee, I didn't actually get my coffee until probably close to 5 a.m. when the flight left. I think they might have opened at 4. And so by the time they finally opened, I walked over there and they were just like, hi, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, it's so good. I'm so happy to get this coffee. Because I don't need to just complain about what hath happened to me. I can be grateful for the fact that now I am getting coffee. An American at least provided me a meal voucher, which was only $12, which I gotta say, that's pretty cheap. I was stuck there for a lot of hours, and I know nothing was open, which is why I just chose to sit. But you could have at least made it 15. Seriously? 12? That just feels messed up. That feels like a slap in the face. But what do I know? Throughout it all, even on the journey, I did try to give compliments. Again, acting with kindness, especially when you feel like garbage, just puts positive energy out into the universe. I feel like if you believe in karma, you're inviting good karma back to you. Give compliments because they're free. And how good does it feel when you get compliments, too? On my way home, I did receive a compliment that it made me happy. She complimented me on my eyebrows, and it was great because I had been traveling for so long. I wasn't even sure if they were still there. So shout out to her. On the way out there, my second favorite compliment of the trip would be that the guy working security at TSA, he liked my blanket. Matt got me this shawl vest thing, poncho. I don't really know what it is. It's knit. It looks kind of like a blanket, but it has a hood. And when I walked through security without my jacket on, you could just see it. And the TSA guy was like, I like your blanket. You just never know what somebody's going through and how meaningful a compliment will be. I got some good compliments on this trip. My favorite compliment of the trip was actually received by two different people. Two of the higher-ups within my company recognized me for my handshake. They both said, wow, that's a great handshake, when I met them. So that was really cool. I know, honestly, that I do have a really good handshake, but I just, to them, said thank you, because that is the polite thing to do. Could you imagine if I just told them, I know? So, compliments are free, you guys. And if this year is not, or this moment, this day has not been what you want it to be, just smile. Just smile. And recognize that patience will get you through this. This moment will not last forever. And the spring will be here before we know it. The time to bloom will be here before we know it. And if you need some shoes to help you in your practice, guess what? You can use my Xero affiliate link. Yes, Xero Shoes with an X, the minimalist shoe that has the wide toe box that allows you to spread your little piggies when you're out there and in your practice, whether you're hiking or walking or running, or I believe they have aqua shoes and snowshoes. They have so many different kinds of shoes, you guys. So whatever you want to do in them, you can. And your toes can be free, and you can be connected to the planet. And what else? You can pay me when you use my Xero affiliate link. It is xeroshoes.com/go/Tyler the Lady. And if you would like to reach out to me, maybe you want to talk to me about New York some more, maybe you have some suggestions on where I can get the real best banana pudding on the planet, please do reach out to me. You can do it via social media at Broadpoints or at Tyler the Lady. And if social media is not for you, I get it. I do. And that is why you can email me broadpointspodcast@gmail.com. With that, shall we wrap this episode up with the fundamental phrase for the week? I think we shall. I am the fix.